Where's my knife? Rode recently released two brand new USB microphones, a dynamic mic and a condenser mic, along with brand new mixing software for content creators. Their goal was clearly to take the recent evolution, the recent trends of software, which is like multi-channel, submixes, all the new things, and completely evolve it to the next level for both streamers and for podcasters. So as I show you this software, I'd love to know your thoughts. Did they succeed? Hey, before we get started, I'd like to give a huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Keeps. Did you know that 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35? Keeps offers the best solution to this. Prevent the hair loss before it starts, and do so at an affordable rate. This is something you can do because Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. It's possible that you've tried them before, just never at this price. Plus, you can get treated right from home. Thanks to Keeps, you can completely avoid the lines and the waiting room of the doctor's office, and instead you can visit a doctor online and have your hair loss medication shipped directly to your home. They make it super easy and deliver your medication every 3 months. It's important that you know that Keeps treatments typically take between 4 and 6 months to see results. So the sooner you start using it, the more hair you'll save. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss like many from the community have done, feel free to go to keeps.com/senpai or use the link in the description down below to get 50% off your first order. That is keeps.com/senpai. So let's start off this video by talking about Rode X's new dynamic mic. This is the XDM100. And for the price tag of $250, you get the microphone, the shock mount, super long USB-C to C cable, the also super long but not quite as long headphone extender cable. Both of these super long so that you can have them run down your mic arm like this. And the pop filter, which I have on here because it's super necessary. Listen to me breathe through my nose. That's something I've never asked anyone to do before, so that's now our moment. The mic has a USB Type-C connector on the back as well as a headphone jack on the bottom, which is kind of a weird place for it. It would have been fine if they'd given you like a right angle headphone jack, but you have to like kind of... Am I doing it wrong the way I have this wire going in there? I don't know. It's got a volume knob for your headphones that can click in order to mute your headphones, which also, by the way, there's an LED indicator on the top there that also shows through this, I don't know what you call it, mic condom? Mic sleeve, but it shows up with it either off or it on, which is kind of nice. The condenser mic is called the Rode XCM, meaning I'm sure that the C stands for condenser and the D stands for dynamic, so it's probably Rode X dynamic mic and Rode X condenser mic. It's pretty much exactly the same inside the box except for the mic, obviously, and instead of the pop filter, it comes with this nice little foldable or collapsible tripod. But they both have these nice little red accents with the volume knob and underneath the mesh here, which is why it bums me out so much that you need the pop filter on this, because oh my gosh, this mic looks, oh, it looks so good. Maybe next time put the extra pop filter like inside the microphone so we can like enjoy the beauty that is this microphone. It's such a beautiful microphone. And by the way, I haven't actually done a listening test on this microphone yet. I've been so busy learning the software that I'm really excited to tell you about, by the way, that I haven't had time to do a listening test on this. So let me know in the comments down below, what does this sound like? And take into consideration that my voice is a little tired right now. That's not the mic. That's me. It's 3 a.m. It's just a late filming session. It is what it is. But while you're down there leaving a comment, hit the like button. And if you do, you'll be entered into a giveaway for my love. And you all win. But let's jump into the software because that's where things start to get a little bit nuts. So at first glance, it looks very similar to what we've become accustomed to. We have an interface with multiple channels. Right now we have the microphone, we have system if we want to add in chat, so I can control my Discord chat separately. Chat channel, we can add music if I want to control the music volume completely separately. We're used to this by now. This has become the norm since it was started by the Go XLR 4 years ago. But unlike those apps that give you 2 different mixes, meaning you have one mix for your audience and one mix for your headphones, you can control the volumes of each channel separately in each mix. Rode gives you at least 5. And I say at least 5 because it's sometimes more than 5. Just take a look. We've got one mix for our stream. We got one mix for our headphones. That's the norm so far. We also have a separate mix for our chat. We have a separate mix for recording. That's really nice. You can also have a separate volume mix for your speakers that are separate from your headphones. And let me show you exactly how this works because they've tried to make it as streamlined and as simple as possible. So you get the first mix, that is your stream mix. And that's like your main mix, it's your master. And then with any of these other submixes, let's go to headphone mix, you get to set a different volume. So I can set a different volume for my music that comes into my headphones versus the stream, but it still shows you where the stream mix is set. So if I go back into stream mix and I make the music really, really loud, and I go back to my headphones, you can see it shows you where that stream mix is. And then on each of these channels, you get to decide, do you want the volume fader linked to the stream mix? So let me show you what that means. I'm gonna turn up both chat and music all the way up to 100, and then I'm gonna unlink chat. So only the music between these two, only the music is linked. If I go back to the stream mix and I turn them both down real low, you can see the one that was linked came down with the stream mix. The one that's not linked stays right where it was. And this works the same way on every single channel. You can see when I go into recording, these were both linked, so they both went down with the master fader. Super cool. You can even take sources entirely out of a certain mix. So if I don't want the music in my recording, I just hit this little, I don't know, what is that symbol called? Does anyone know? Circle slash? I hit the circle slash, and now there's no music in my recording. You could also theoretically use this as a VOD track for Twitch if you want to set your VODs to not have music in it so you don't get any of your VODs muted. You just turn music out of there and then set the recording to be the VOD track inside OBS. No more Twitch mutes. But okay, remember when I said that it was at least 5 mixes? Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. You invite your friend over, you're gonna start a podcast, right? You got a second Rode X microphone. Maybe your friend brings his own Rode X microphone, right? Plug this thing in. And now we can add the XCM50. And let's actually get this one set up. The laptop is kind of screaming like a jet engine, so I hope that doesn't come through too much considering this is a condenser mic. Anyway, you add a second microphone in here, and look at this. Here's a headphone with a 2 on it. And if we look at our mixes, you can see we now have another mix, headphones 2, which we can control the entire mix the exact same ways we controlled every other mix before. And it tells you which microphone is connected to which headphone mix. So I can go to headphone mix 2 and set the exact mix that my imaginary friend is looking for. Oh man, I said the quiet part out loud. This software is super awesome for streaming, but like, so innovative for podcasting. You don't need to have a massive mixer that all 4 XLR mics go into anymore. They're all just individual with headphones going right into the microphone in front of the person. Half as many cables going across the desk too. It's nice. We also have mic effects too, by the way. If you were to click on one of these microphones, you can see we have a noise gate, a compressor, an oral exciter for those crispy high ends, and a big bottom, what's also, I think it's also technically an exciter. I don't know. Either way, to get those thicker low end sounds, beefy voice stuff, which you have easy controls where you just click to activate and deactivate, or you can hit advanced and you can go into some pretty intense stuff. Why is this ratio not 4:1? Rode, vocal compression should be 4:1 by default. What are you doing? I'm not wearing headphones. I have no idea what this is going to do to the sound. So if it starts to sound weird, it is what it is. But not quite as robust as like a full-on EQ that Elgato or Beacon offers. But it seems robust enough to get the job done. And so now I'm curious about one thing. Actually, I'm curious about 2 things. Did you hit the like button yet? Second thing, I feel like I'm slouching. That's not the second thing. I just feel like I'm slouching because this cable's really short. Sorry for my posture. I'm wondering how much of a market there is for a separate device to give all these other podcast guests their own control, right? Because you can set a mix and each person does have control over their headphone volume, but they have control over nothing else. Like what if there's a guy named Danny that's on this podcast and I hate his voice and I hate his opinions? I would love like a little device where I could just control that specific fader and turn that person down. So like the microphone plugs into this thing, which then plugs into the computer like a daisy chain. It's like this small device with like 4 knobs. I wonder what the market for something like that would be. Like, are there enough people that would need that would be a viable product to make like super cheaply, just like a little square with 4 knobs? I don't know. Would you buy it? Let me know in the comments. And as for sound quality, what do you think of these 2 microphones? I'm specifically not doing a side-by-side test with other microphones because when you watch a stream or a podcast, you don't compare it to another microphone. You only hear one microphone. So really, while you're watching this, if it seemed like it sounded fine, then it's good enough for a stream. I kind of wanted to run a single video test like that where I didn't do a side-by-side, because you don't notice the flaws until you put it next to a mic, and that doesn't happen in content. So what are your thoughts? Were these good enough? Would these work for a podcast or a live stream? Hope you found this interesting. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, happy streaming.